I'm James Tagg. I'm CTO of Truphone, which I founded, and I also am now an author. I wrote a book on artificial intelligence. It's not a maths book. It is a book about science and the brain, where I'm trying to explain some really complicated mathematical ideas without using mathematics. So by analogy, trying to get you to understand why these things matter. I build products for a living, and very often you have to debug those products, which means that's code for they don't work. So you have to debug them and fix them. And I would spend a lot of time with people trying to fix products where it was clear they just didn't understand what was going on. So I wanted to know what the difference was between understanding and just following a procedure. There's a mathematician called David Hilbert, and at the turn of the last century, he gave a lecture in Paris. Hilbert said, can you just put all these mathematical puzzles into a machine? He didn't know computers existed then, they didn't exist, but could you put them into some sort of method, automatic method, and just automatically solve them without actually using your brain to sort of think about it and be intuitive. And that was the puzzle that Turing, who we now know from his World War II fame, but Turing tackled. What that's basically saying is can you apply an algorithm to an equation, you just give it an equation and it just solves it for you, right? And Turing proved that it couldn't. So you can't make any algorithm and then just give it the equation and say, right, solve it. There will always be equations that you can't solve. If we have a set of equations that can't be solved by a machine, right, and we think human beings are machines, the question then would be, can you find a problem that a human being has solved that a machine could not solve? The obvious one that you can find is Fermat's last theorem. It remained unsolved for 358 years, so it's a very hard problem to solve. So you've now got this clear thing where Fermat's last theorem is solved by a human being, Andrew Wiles. Matievich and a bunch of other mathematicians have proven that no machine, no general purpose algorithm could solve it. And so Wiles is not a general purpose algorithm. So he's not a computer. The first problem we have is that a lot of people don't think I'm right. Well, the main argument against it is that Andrew Wiles is not a general purpose computer, he's a special purpose computer. And we know that special purpose computers can solve Fermat's last theorem.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. If I type in, what is the solution to Fermat's last theorem into Google search and press return, the third answer will be Andrew Wiles' proof. We don't care whether there is a special purpose machine that can find it. We need to know how you could make that special purpose machine. Because before Wiles, Google couldn't do it. After Wiles, it could do it. But what it means for you is that you're not a machine. And in particular, you can do creative things, which a machine cannot do. So what it means is that if computers and AI and robots become better and better and better and better, what are you going to be left with as the thing that you do that makes you human? And that's basically two things: the ability to be creative and the ability to get up in the morning and decide to be creative. I'm not a mystic, so I think that we could build a creative machine, but it's a much harder problem to solve. If you've watched that movie, Ex Machina, right, and he gets the kind of brain out, and then he's had to make this special type of material. It's going to be a special type of thing. I think when you write something down, you realise how little you knew about a subject in the first place. And I thought, I know quite a lot about this field, and if you actually try and write down coherent sentences that all kind of hold together, you realise just how little you know. So I thought that I would write a book and I would stop reading the huge quantity of material that I used to read in terms of journals and things like that. And what I actually found is I had to read more. Why you're not a computer, and that you have free will and creativity, and they are real things, and you should go out and do interesting and real things with your life because they matter. It's not all just going to happen. You have to make it happen.